Hello ladies and gentlemen, I make this video a little bit to clarify on the topic of the eras, because we are speaking about changes since already maybe 7-8 years. We're speaking about changes. We're in transitioning period to a new era, new epoch. What is going on from astronomical and astrological point of view, applying the knowledge of the ancient Babylonian astrology. This I want to clarify to you, because it seems otherwise that we are repeating that the every next cycle is promising another change after change, and then what is happening? Where are we? What is this leading to? When is the change? When is this transformation process ending? So this is what I would like to discuss a little bit with you, to bring clarity as the way I understand it. So astrology is hermetic. This is hermetic science. This is the first science known to humanity. This is really the first, not astronomy, it is astrology. Astronomy came after astrology. So astrology is cyclic circular science. This is hermetic science. If you, maybe I will make separate video only on the hermetic laws. So it is circular, cyclical. So as you know, one God's year is related to the precession, to the rotation of the earth. Here we will not go into the question whether the earth is flat or not. This is another story, and I made separate video on that too. But speaking about this cycle, it is lasting approximately 25,000 years. When you divide this 25,000 year cycle into 12, we get under mini sub-cycles, sub-eras, each one lasting roughly 2,000 years. This is just for simple calculation, just to tell you when one cycle is starting, when another one is ending, just to have clarity on where are we heading. When is this era now or social system ending? When is this cycle or social system, when is this it's going to be replaced by a new one, by another one? This is question which I have in mind all the time, and now I will be reasoning with you. So saying this, speaking about this division of 2,400 something years, now we are finalizing one of these sub-periods. We are finalizing. It's not over yet. So how we know in which era is ruling, the planet is ruling us, the human beings? We know by seeing where is the point of the equinoxes and the solstices. So the equinoxes are approximately roughly in the 5th degrees of Pisces and Virgo. So this is our starting point. Remember, 5th degrees Pisces. Let's take 5th degrees Pisces as vernal equinox for the northern hemisphere, and it will be then autumn equinox for the southern hemisphere. Doesn't matter. This is tropical point. This is our starting point. 5th degree Pisces. So what it means, we still live in the era of Pisces, but we are in last degrees. These 5 degrees, the 5th degree, we count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 1, and we live through the last 5 degrees of Pisces. So why am I telling you this? Because we need to understand historically, when you look back in Babylonian times, and I did look, when you look at other epochs, like the beginning of the Christ era with the 0 degree of Aries, always when you are finalizing sub-period, always the time goes very fast. There is a mixture of nations. It was known that back then, around these times, the Roman times of the Christian era, it was known that the same way now we have people mixing from every culture, the same happened back then. And you see it in the historical texts. You see how, for example, if you take Vitius Valens, he was writing his work in Egypt, but he was not Egyptian. People would be traveling anywhere they could with the means they had back in that time, but there was the same mixture, messy mixture of cultures, like now, like what we see now. And of course, there was no peace at all. Absolutely, there was no peace at all. So speaking about where are we heading now, where we need to know where are we now. So let me tell you something that I mentioned in different videos many times, because this is something which occupies my mind all the time, but it is now relevant to tell you about. So we do not know exactly whether this sub-cycle is 2,200 years long or 2,400 years. We don't know. We know it is roughly 2,200 years long cycle, and we know that we now are in this nearly 5 degrees of Pisces. So what happened? How you know when mini era is changing? First of all, you have this division by 12. We are in the era of Pisces, but this era, you can divide forever, because like I told you, the Hermetism, the Hermetic logic of astrology is circular. It means you can divide forever by 12. So if you take this cycle of 2,000 years and you divide it one more time by 12 and then by 12, then you get different divisions and different sub-cycles plus sub-cycles within sub-cycles and so forever. And all this is correct and you know where you are. But when you divide them, you need to know which planet is ruling which cycle. And here we go to the knowledge of the dodecatemoria. It means that dodecatemoria is the dividing by 10, but 12. You start with the division. You start with the sign which is ruling the zodiacal sign. You take, for example, the sign of Pisces, and you start division by 12, but you start with Pisces. First you have Pisces, then you have Aries, then you have Taurus, then you have Gemini, and so you get 12 divisions. So you get 12 divisions of a sign which is 30 degrees. This way we know that the larger cycle that we are in is ruled by Pisces, but the mini cycle that we are in, the under sub-cycle that we're in, is ruled by Aries. Because we take the era of Pisces and you divide it one more time by 12. So, by dividing by 12, we see and we know that right now we are in the sub-era of Aries. This already speaks enough. This is just a reminder I make to you. I spoke about this previously because this is very important. We need to keep this in mind while we are on Earth. So we are ruled by Aries. How we know we entered the sub-era of Aries? We know because suddenly life changed when you had this very extreme events caused by terrorism in Iraq. And this was in 2014. I will not name the events, but there were very specific events by destruction of artifacts made by Islamic State. Extreme, this really, the world was shocked by this very dirty, ugly Martial events, because Mars can be very good, but he can also be very bad, and depends on us, depends on the collective, on our consciousness, how Mars will perform. So in 2014-15, Mars, we saw his bad phase. Then we knew we are changing sub-era, and from the mini-era of Taurus, the dodecatemoria of Taurus, we entered the dodecatemoria of Aries. And with this, we said goodbye to peace on Earth. And more war-like events started at that time. So we are still another 4.5 degrees to go until we reach the first degree of Pisces, and we enter the 30th degrees of Aquarius. This is because, like I told you, we move backwards. Saying this, where are we moving? We still have 4 degrees to live in Aries. What does it mean? Count it, transferred in years. Multiply this by 2.5. Every degree, now I will multiply, every degree now is 72 years. You have 5 times 72, 360 years, 10 of which are gone. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be living in this Aries era another 340 years. But this is not answering the question, where are we heading now tomorrow? We want to know now, recently, what is happening. Of course, we can divide the dodecatemoria and more. But here come the knowledge of the transits. And then I spoke about these new cycles, which always start with these conjunctions between planets which are very much influencing the collective. And these are the planets above Saturn. I'm speaking about Saturn, Jupiter too, but Saturn is very important, karmic lord. So I'm speaking about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and of course Saturn. And then the beginnings of cycles between these planets are showing you how this mini era will look like, because we know we're in the mini era now of Aries. Mars is ruling us. Mars means war in his lower performance. He shouldn't be always war. He can also be heroism, lofty heroism. He can be drive to save the earth and the human beings. It is not must to see the bad manifestations of the Martial energies, but unfortunately this is what we see now. This is why it's so important for us to wake up and to become really warriors of decency and truth. So we live in the era of Aries. Mars is ruling us, so we watch closely what Mars is doing, and I explained this in my previous video. Let me not go so much into Mars now. I will do it other times too. But so where are we heading now? We look, like I told you, at these mini cycles within mini era that I explained to you about. So Mars is the main ruler of our mini era, but within this we look at the beginnings of cycles. And here come first to tell you, when you have such change of era, like moving dodecatemoria from Taurus into Aries, you have absolutely, for sure, without any exception, change of the social system. Change of the social system, change of the organization of the routine of the life on Earth. And you may call it New World Order, if you like, the way they like to call it. Doesn't matter what name you put. In any case, we have the change of the social system, which is of the order. And you see, now they speak about this a lot, but I tell you, already in 2000, maybe, if I'm not wrong, I heard about this for the first time in 2011, 10. this is when we were about to change dodecatemoria, because always change of dodecatemoria mean the arrangement on Earth is changing. And then how is it going to change? You see already with these cycles which take place on Earth. Of course, never forget Mars is a very important Lord for us now until we are on Earth, actually. Also our children. So we have to be very much in control of our martial energies, like our ambition, our aggression, just everything that is under Mars. You need to be in control of the low martial red, you know which chakra, lower chakra Mars is ruling. So this is why the energies can really be very low. They can be lofty or not. Rage is under Mars, anger is under Mars. We need to be in control of those. So speaking about this, we are now in under the rulership of Mars, but we're looking, of course, at the other cycles which take place. So you saw already the social system was shaking, crumbling back then in 2014, even before. So further, we have already the details. The social system is changing. Where is the new one that is coming? And here I made a very good, very long video, and I pinned it. This is my welcoming video on my channel. This video cost me long research because I had to answer questions that I had. If you take a look at this video, I believe it is important. There I'm speaking about this, the social system, and why are we heading to dark ages. This depends on us. Dark ages or lighter, but light ages, I don't know if we're going to have in the future. In any case, now we're living in this post-capitalistic era, because already in 2014 the capitalistic era, as you know it, was transforming itself into something new, and we don't know what it is, but we see what it is through these multiple cycles which happened within the next 5-6 years. We have already the vision of what it is, and now I will tell you. Actually, you know it, I will just remind them to you. In 2020, Jupiter-Saturn great conjunction, very unique, happening once in 35 years. You will say, but in 35 years it is a small era. Yes, but it is happening within, for the first time, after we entered the Mars, the Aries mini era. So for the Aries mini year, it was the first time in, I think it was 21st December 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn made conjunction, and you know it was a very special, unique conjunction. They looked like one star. Some call it Star of Bethlehem. I don't think this was Star of Bethlehem, but let it have this energy if people prefer. So Jupiter and Saturn made, and with this major new cycle of enlightenment, and even spiritual changes for the humanity started with this. Like days or month after that, you had also for the first time for this Martial mini era, we had conjunction Saturn-Pluto. This is big. This is already new rulers, total change of the system as we know it, and you see it happening now. And this was already in 2021. Then we had Neptune, Saturn happened this year in the summer, also in August, also in September, and will repeat itself in 2026 for last time. And this is major, this is big, this shows all these big players, I would call them, the trans-Saturnian planets started new cycles within this mini era of Aries, because they are starting the new social system for us. How is this going to look? Very differently from what we see now. Just in maybe a couple of years, we will not be recognizing the world, but you see already where the world is heading, and this is not capitalistic system. This is the system now is really falling apart before our eyes, and is falling apart like day by day. Nothing is safe, nothing is secured, and of course, wars are a must. I say it, you know, of course, as exaggeration, but wars are needed in order to. You cannot replace a system, social system, without a war. Historically, never happened. Never happened. We cannot replace a system without a war. This I tell you for sure. So maybe, most probably, these are not the last wars. We'll see what will happen when Mars on the 9th of June becomes visible for the first time. I mean, of 2026. We'll see what he will bring. Hopefully, it will be not very extreme, but we will be seeing, because we are, it's a closure. This is post-capitalistic era. How long this will last? You see all these new cycles which started back in 2020, 2021, now in 2025. Last time it will be in 2026. So all these cycles last minimum 35 years, but the first, let's say 10 years are mostly very intense, because then they are forming the sextile, then the square. So it may last a decade. It may last. So we are heading towards, we're still in this transition now period, which will involve instability, fall of economies, fall of regimes, and I don't see yet new, decent, honest regimes that love the human beings coming into power. None of them really love the people. This is because also the lower vibrations of Mars are not lofty. They are not represented by people who are very educated, very knowledgeable. Mars is not representing knowledge. That's why I like when, you know, the Russian historian, who I really quote oftentimes, also in the video which I mentioned to you, which is pinned on my channel. So, oh no, is it pinned? I think I pinned it, yes. So I like when he said, the world is ruled by, how you say this in English, people who got, in our system it is a tree, maybe in the American system this would be a C or a D. D people who got D at school, mark D, are ruling the world. You can imagine what we are talking about. But this is the low vibration of Mars. Who people with bad Mars, badly associated with Mercury, for example, don't like to study, they will not perform well at school. And these are the rulers, these are the results. So while we are in this Aries Dodecatemoria, which is actually not yet, actually Dodecatemoria is 2.5 degrees, but we have 5 degrees to exit Pisces. So the Dodecatemoria of Aries is 180 years. So in Aries only we have about 160, 70 years to live. Well, you see what I mean. So while we're in this Dodecatemoria, we need to be in control of the martial energies, our own martial energies. And where are we heading? Because every time I'm announcing, there is another cycle, Saturn Neptune cycle, which will be repeated in 2026. This means that there is another level of change. Yes, there is another level and more levels of change within the Aries life. You see what I mean? So we cannot promise ourselves easy times. We have to create easier times with faith in the Creator, in the creation, in ourselves, because we need to know. And a very dear friend of mine was repeating to me yesterday, actually, we don't even know how powerful we are. Even the people who passed sometimes need our help and our prayers, because we are even more powerful than they are here. So here we came to have really amazing powers. If we only knew how powerful we are, we wouldn't allow illiterate D-grade people or C-grade people to rule us and to tell us what to do. How come somebody who have low results at school to come and tell you who have, for example, good education or knowledge, how come he's telling you what to do, or he's telling you to wear a mask, or he wants to know where you spend your money, or so or so. So really we need to know and remember that we are very, very powerful. Otherwise we'll be having difficult time during these 108 years that we have to live in. No, it's not very funny, but this is the truth. So what are the mini cycles showing us? Now in June, then in August, we had this very important many sextiles, Neptune, Saturn, squaring Uranus, squaring Pluto, and not squaring, sextiling. This is, it's like we got great support from the spirit world for the uplifting of our consciousness. So this is what we have to care about only now, not to be afraid or worried. Yes, wars they will create, because the environment, the cosmic environment allows this. It is allowed on the sky. These wars, they are very sad. They are desperate. Their desperation for the people who suffer them, but somehow they are allowed for some reason. This is why. What can I tell you? How to finalize my speech when I cannot tell you that suddenly tomorrow we will be entering another sub-cycle, which will mean total peace on earth, abundance for everyone, equality. No, this will not happen. We are still ruled by Mars. I will tell you that next year there will be great change in the status quo as we know it after February, and also I will tell you that after the spring part of this cycle, see, I'm speaking already about improvement. There will be some improvement in the economy. People will have relief, but still the main topic remains Mars, and we are transiting into another social system. And I wish to tell you what this social system will be like, but when I look at the development of these cycles, which started 2020, 2021, and so, I see that there is a possibility of more further implementation of artificial intelligence and so. But according to Rudolf Steiner, part of this can also be good, and it is not necessarily to be used only for bad purposes. So you see, it's very much up to us. We are powerful. We are powerful, but of course, if you want to be on the safe side, it's better to produce your own food. And this is possible for everyone. I'm sure there is a way. So to have some dose of security and safety in these times, which are absolutely volatile from every aspect of life, it is good to have, to know a lot, to inform ourselves about alternative healing, herbalism, healing with herbs, and of course, being independent, having your own food. And so, because there will be more of the artificial intelligence implemented in our life for very bad, but also for good. It can lead to totalitarian control, it can and not. But totalitarian control in this transition phase is very possible too. Because remember, all started in 2020, December, with Saturn-Pluto conjunction. In Capricorn, if this is not totalitarian control of the people, what is totalitarian control? And control on the number of people, because this I don't want to go into. Maybe when I make my, other video anyway, because this becomes too... So, let me summarize, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid. Remember, you're very powerful. So powerful we are that the people, the dear people from our ancestors who passed, sometimes need our prayers, because we can help them from here. They help us from there, but we can help them from here because we are very powerful. Keep this message in mind. Remember, you're very powerful. Remember, you can have your independent, try to build your independent food supply. Not because something scary will happen, no, but you feel better and more secure and safer when you are not... because they're also poisoning everything, but this is another topic that that will maybe require another conversation. But we're heading into era which will be involving a lot of artificial intelligence, which is post-capitalistic. It is era which is hard to describe. Many people will be awake, many will connect to nature, but every time when there is a closure of era, finalizing of 2000-year cycle, times become more difficult, and not without a reason. Similar aspects, similar cycles which happen now, the great historians like Fursev, Andrei Ilyich Fursev, the Russian historian, called these are the dark ages. Again, this is not to scare you. I'm not scared at all, because I believe we are very powerful. All the best, be happy, and see you soon. Bye bye.